My parents have been against even meeting my fiance due to his educational background, occupation, and his parents' occupation. They say, "Why can't you do better? Why would you settle for this?" We were going to get married with just close friends present at the registry, but somehow my mother found out and crashed the wedding 10 minutes prior. We were standing outside the building with her yelling and screaming at us, "How could you do this?" etc., etc., for over an hour. She threatened us, saying that she would be writing to immigration to get my fiancé deported if we proceeded with the wedding, on the basis that this is a relationship that hasn't been blessed by the parents. Her words, not mine. In the end, we weren't able to proceed, due to my father turning up and threatening us with physical violence. We have now cut them off, but I'm worried whether or not there is any legal basis for the parents to get my fiancé deported, merely because they dislike him. Located in Australia, but I don't imagine this aspect of immigration law would be that different. If he's there legally, there's nothing they can do. Next time, hire security and have them bounced. I don't imagine this aspect of immigration law would be that different. Why would you not imagine that? Immigration law is very country-specific. No, they cannot get your fiancé deported because they don't like him. You are adults. Marrying does not require their consent. Marrying him does not actually guarantee that he can legally stay in Australia, although it does help a lot. You need to do a whole lot of research into Australian immigration and visa conditions, because if you've just been assuming this whole time that it works like your impressions of how America's does, then you could be in for an extremely nasty surprise. My sister-in-law is smart and principled, but also pretty rigid. I love that she speaks her mind, but I also think she oversteps regularly with the idea that she's doing the right thing. A little background. My sister-in-law married my brother 5 years ago and was excited to spend time with our family visiting from the East Coast. She grew up as the only child in an unstable home and was really into the idea of our family holiday gatherings, having siblings by marriage, and, I guess, having her fantasy of a stable family fulfilled. She was so excited, in fact, that she and my brother relocated from the East Coast to our hometown, hundreds of miles away, when the opportunity presented itself. The conflict started when her fantasy of our family collided with reality. Sister-in-law has repeatedly pulled me aside and chastised me for not having the relationship with my parents that she wants me to have. For example, I don't go on family trips with my parents because we have different definitions of fun and relaxing. I also prefer to see my parents the day after Christmas, rather than sleep over and spend Christmas morning at their house. It's logistically easier and more relaxing to open presents with our kid at home, rather than schlepping everything and everyone across town. I used to write the gripes off as disappointment over unmet expectations, and they didn't bother me much. I started taking her unsolicited advice more seriously when she had some harsh words to say about me pursuing fertility treatments. The shorthand is that for my husband and I to have kids, we definitely need help. When she asked me privately about our plans for having a family, I thought that was a safe topic with her since she's so into family. Whoops. I told her the truth. She told me point blank that fertility treatments are a mistake and we should just adopt. After that incident, I made a point to keep my distance from her and stick to water cooler topics. Soon after that conversation, the fertility treatments worked. However, my sister-in-law stopped talking to me and my husband. Sister-in-law is the social coordinator for my brother, so I doubt he noticed the sudden lack of texts, phone calls, and visits. Sister-in-law only resumed speaking to me 3 weeks before our son was born, when she made several generous but overstepping offers to help us. Example, staying overnight to help with the baby. I thanked her for her enthusiasm, but told her we had it covered. Despite living a short drive away, sister-in-law and my brother didn't bother coming over to see our new baby until he was 2 months old, and I invited them to a party at our place. Yeah, I was really hurt by all that, especially since sister-in-law being so into family and togetherness. Despite all this, I was able to keep up the water cooler talk and thought we had reached some level of peace, if not closeness. Wrong. I recently posted a photo of my son on Facebook, and now sister-in-law is back in my business, and I need some advice. My sweet son is now 18 months old and able to use a rocking chair that I've had since I was a child. The chair is painted black and green with gold accents and has some pink flowers on the headrest. Very sweet. This rocking chair has been passed down through 5 prior generations of my family, and my son makes the 6th generation. All the prior owners have been girls through sheer luck of birth order or hoarding tendencies. Growing up, the chair was a fixture in my bedroom, and my mom made sure to get the rocking chair to my house as soon as I moved in several years ago. I've been storing it for our future kids ever since. I had the idea of taking a picture of my son in this teeny 150-year-old chair and posting it on Facebook, along with pictures of other wee family members sitting in it over the years. Well, sister-in-law saw the photos and immediately started raising a ruckus. She reached out to me about giving the chair to her for her 2 young daughters, since it's a family piece and is really for girls. She's even attempted to rope my parents into this. They wisely are staying out of it, but boy, am I tempted to tell her where to get off. This feels like a shameless grab at something she wants from a parent and child she doesn't like. No amount of reasoning with her. It's mine. I've stored and maintained it. My son is enjoying it. Seems to persuade her. I'm okay with her not liking me, since it frankly seems like we are already there. I really worry about my brother, though. He's also choosing to stay out of it, and I made a choice long ago to not tattle on sister-in-law for all the pool-aside lectures and unsolicited advice. I have no idea if he's tried to reason with sister-in-law, or if he's aware of her regular badgering. On the few occasions he's seen her raise a concern with me about more trivial matters, like sleeping over at my parents' house for the holidays, he's generally backed her up and asked me to relent, because it's important to sister-in-law. I can't imagine being close to sister-in-law, but the distance I've created with her has also created distance with him. So the advice I'm looking for is how to keep sister-in-law at bay while still getting to have a relationship with my brother. Should I loop him in on what's going on? How do I talk about creating boundaries with her without letting loose on how much I don't want to be around her and dislike her unrealistic expectations? She asked. You said no. Stop conversing with her about it. No is a complete answer, and you don't need to justify your response. You can't change her, only your reaction to her. Keep in touch with your brother by whatever means you did before, or want to now. Be polite to her. That's all you owe her. Your sister-in-law wants the daughter place of the family. That's why she antagonized you so much. She's projecting because you're the woman who grew up with everything she ever wanted. Honestly, keep contact to a minimum. Create the habit to text your brother directly so she doesn't cut you two apart. And make sure your parents don't miss out on that new baby just because she's being petty and jealous. I have a necklace that my grandma, Dad's mom, gave me when I was 16. My mom hates her because my grandma went no contact with my dad for marrying my mom. I don't know exactly what happened because they refused to tell me until I'm 20 for some reason. My mom did allow me to have a relationship with my grandmother, though. I could see her every 3 months. She died due to COVID a year ago, and I miss her so much it hurts. The thing is, my dad's family is extremely wealthy. Our family is not, though, since Dad was cut off. But for my sweet 16 party, I got to spend time with my grandma, and she gave me a beautiful necklace. She said it was for my wedding and for my future kids, since she didn't feel like she would live long enough to see that. My mom immediately made my dad check it out, and they even called my grandma demanding she take it back. Let's just say it was worth more than $19,000, but it was mine to keep at the end. I was never hesitant to wear it despite being so expensive. It reminds me of her, so I always make sure to wear it during any black tie events, like fundraisers or a family member's wedding reception. Devon knows all about this. Not the exact price, but just that it's expensive. Also, Devon's family is not as well off as mine. She doesn't own a single piece of expensive, or I guess real jewelry. So when she asked me if she could wear it to my cousin's wedding, I allowed her to. I just wore another smaller necklace. I felt bad for her, so I gave it to her, but made sure to tell her to be careful. Well, she lost it. She was ignoring me for 2 days after the event, and I knew something was up. My mom, dad, and I went over and asked for the necklace, but I already knew something had happened. She was in tears, and her parents told us she didn't remember where she kept it. Our parents talked while we sat in separate rooms. Devon's mom came to me and said that if we had to pay back the money, it would mean they could no longer support Devon's college fee. I told her it didn't matter, and that I wanted her to pay me back no matter what. We talked some more, then some more with my parents. This talk took place a week ago, and I'm starting to feel a bit like an a-hole. Maybe for her education's sake, I should have forgiven her? My parents would have still asked for it, but maybe if I stood with Devon, they would have backed off. So now I want to know from a different perspective. Am I the a-hole or not? Not involving the police because of personal reasons. Our families are close, and it would be disrespectful to do so. Edit. Dad didn't allow me to get it insured because it was stupid, and I was 16 and couldn't do anything by myself. A payment plan won't work because my plan is to buy a replacement necklace. since a similar style from the same brand is available now, and I don't know if it will be for more time. So they have to give me the money ASAP and all together. Second edit. My parents are going to involve the cops. I don't know the details, but that's what they said just now. Not the a-hole. She lost it, and then tried to hide that from you. Then her whole family laid an emotional guilt trip on you to pressure you into basically gifting her a $20K necklace, which is the last thing your dead grandma ever gave you. Heck no. Are you sure it's even lost? That necklace would be a great way to bulk up a college fund. Edit. I do agree with many other comments that you probably shouldn't have lent it out. However, that is done and can't be taken back, and the necklace is gone and can't be given back. Now she needs to make it right. A payment plan would be a great way to do that without sacrificing her future. Everyone sucks here. You should never have allowed someone to borrow a necklace that was not only that expensive, but also held sentimental value to you. That was your mistake in the first place. Your friend should have been more responsible with an item that didn't belong to her and should have given it right back as soon as the ceremony was over. While I do understand you wanting to be paid back for the cost of the necklace, it was also your bad decision in the first place to let the necklace go, and now you're asking your friend to sacrifice her entire education to pay you back for something that can never be replaced. I, female 26, have known my fiance, male 38, for 4 years. We're Christians and ran in the same circle at church in Georgia. We became best friends over 2 years, dated for a year, got engaged, and are set to be married July 3rd. We are both saving ourselves for marriage. We have not had S. I am a virgin, but he has quite an extensive S history from his 20s, but has long since changed. He has repented for his behavior, and I promised myself that him and I wouldn't shame him for his previous choices. Those choices, however, did come with consequences. My fiancé has a young son from a previous relationship. Things are clean between him and his ex. They are co-parenting very well. His son is almost 9 years old now, and I love him dearly, and I was ready and prepared to enter his life as a stepmom. A little over a month ago, a woman that he drunkenly hooked up many years ago with began alleging that my fiancé was the father of her 3-year-old son. He was stunned, and I was floored. She was in a relationship, but they broke up, and now she needs additional financial and parental support for her son. She apparently tested as many guys as she could, and by process of elimination, decided on my fiancé as the only option left. He took the test, and the results just came back. He's the father. This isn't what I signed up for when we got engaged, and it's not the life I committed to marrying into. I'm young, and I'm not ready to be a mother of 2 kids, and I don't want to share my husband with 2 other women. I love him so much it hurts, but this life isn't the life I wanted. He's tried being accommodating, and he's tried comforting me, but there's only so much words can do when the situation hasn't changed. I don't want to split up with him, but I'm pretty sure 2 weeks won't be enough for me to know whether or not I'm ready to marry him. I'm running out of time to make this call the longer I wait, and I just don't know what to do. This man is the love of my life, and I feel like I'm being stupid for making such a big deal out of this, but also, I am not ready. I hate that I'm struggling with this, and it's not fair to my fiancé. But it's not fair to our families who have made travel arrangements. I'm flip-flopping between canceling it completely, pushing it back, but running the risk of a second pandemic wave, or just going ahead with it. I'm not at all convinced that we wouldn't make it through this. It's a challenge, and I'm young, but I don't want to be loveless for the rest of my life because I left my person. Note that neither he nor his family are on the hook for the cost of the wedding, aside from personal travel. Everything has come from me and my family, and we're comfortable enough to take the financial hit without worry. Edit. I fear I'm being a hypocrite. I don't want to punish this man that I love. He deserves love, and it's been hard for him to find healthy romantic relationships because of his own immaturity in the past. But now he's ready, and he's of course devastated, and is doing everything in his power to prove and explain that we can work. He wants to start therapy immediately. Am I blowing this out of proportion? I don't even know if I am asking all the right questions. You're not making a big deal. This is a big ducking deal. He has 2 children, each from a different mother, and for all we know, he may have more. Love is important, but so are logistics. The reality of your relationship has changed drastically, and not in your favor. It will be difficult to say the least, but you owe yourself a clean slate for marriage. I am not referring to his S history. Being a virgin doesn't necessarily dictate one's integrity in romantic relationships and marriage. The clean slate I'm talking about is a marriage that has all options and roads open ahead. Cross-country move for work on the table? Nope, he's got kids. You want to splurge on your own kid's nursery? Nope, he's got child support payments to make. That's how I see the situation anyhow. You should call off the wedding. This man is much older than you. He is much more experienced than you, and he already came with a crap ton of baggage before you found out about this new child. You say he repented when he joined the church and had an extensive S history in his 20s, but he conceived this child when he was 35 and already supposedly reformed. The child is 3. None of this happened many years ago. No amount of therapy will change this. Therapy won't make his second child or the responsibilities that come with that go away. If you go through with this, you'll always have to deal with the fact that you have to take 2 whole other families into account financially, logistically, and emotionally. You're so young. You don't need to sign up for this life no matter how much you love him. You won't be loveless for the rest of your life because you let this one go. You're only 26, and you don't have a metric ton of baggage.